Hello troops, we're back again for another element of design, and this time we are going to talk about the design element called balance. Let me read to you. The definition of balance refers to the ways in which the elements, lines, shapes, colors, textures, and the important element, etc., of a piece are arranged. Balance can be symmetrical or formal, where elements are given equal weight from an imaginary line in the middle of the piece. Asymmetrical or informal balance occurs when elements are placed unevenly in a piece but work together to produce harmony. But before we start talking about balance, let's talk about my cat. All right. Moving on. Now, this is a very important symbol. It's the yin and yang. It's a symbol of universal symbol of balance, and it actually occurs on a nation's flag. If any of you can tell me by yelling out the name of that country right now. Okay. Now, notice that each of these pieces, if you drew like a center line across like this, the black balances the white, this shape balances this shape, that doesn't balance anything, the white dot balances the black dot. Everything is in perfect symmetry or perfect balance. This piece, you say that's not balanced, but then you look at it and you realize that you have a center line. Oops, that's where you do. You have a center line that runs there you go. Okay, I'm through movement. There's your center line, and notice that on each side of this line you have exactly the same elements. So there's another example of balance. This one's particularly interesting because there is no perceived center line except for maybe down the middle. What you have here is balance between this dark, strong object, the tree, the people, and the ground. Balances nicely with the rainbow and these objects hanging from the top of the composition. So this balances with this. Let me give you an example of asymmetrical composition. Let me get my polygon tool, pick a pretty color out. Let's put my polygon tool. Let's make a polygon that goes right here. Alright. Now, that has some shape and some mass and some weight. I'm going to take my star tool, change its color. I lied. I was going to change its color, didn't I? There we go. There we go. Okay. Here's the idea behind why this picture has balance. Let's fix the color on that. Alright. The idea here is that if you took all of these stars and put them all together and calculated the square feet or square inches of the object you create by placing these all together, that these objects would equal the square feet or inches of this object. That's kind of one of the principles behind asymmetrical balance, is that despite the fact these are scattered out, there is no perceived center line, that the size and mass of all these pieces, if you squished it all together, would equal the size and mass of this object here. I wish you to now demonstrate to me by you creating some simple composition, either asymmetrical or symmetrical balance. Again, symmetrical balance would be that. Asymmetrical, this or this. And when you're done, as always, let's put the project frame and send it to me and give you some points, which will make everybody happy, including mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, our new principal, whoever that is at this time. I'm doing this in July, so I haven't got a clue who our new principal is. But we are for sure going to have a new principal very soon, they tell me. Okay. Let's run this across the bottom, hold the shift key down, and I'm going to do my text up here because it doesn't interfere with the boxes, which sometimes it does if you try and do text inside the box. And okay, there you go. Work of art. Now let's put that down there. I don't ordinarily like to see this, but in this case I'm going to make an exception because it doesn't. I guess I could drag it out there. That makes everybody happy. Let's put this as an export. Let's call this balance. Be nice if I could spell, huh? Balance and your last name. Let's change this over to a JPEG. And let's save it on the Watkins folder. Boom, 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 and you're done.